the main thing, and we should be very grateful that we know what we love. Because people living whole life, you know, 60, 70 years, people living all their life and they don't know what they love. It doesn't really matter if they have money, they don't have money. It doesn't really matter where they are in the world. They're just living their life and they don't know what they love. But I think I'm very grateful, and probably you as well, because you know what you love doing and you keep doing what you love doing.
Welcome to another episode of the One Lap Heroes, and this one is a bit special and different.
Special.
Yeah.
It's a spotlight. We actually told you that it's coming. And it is a very special spotlight.
Is Spotlight and the final name?
No, I have to admit that I still don't know, but the name is whatever you see up there.
It's internally known as Spotlight.
And this is exactly what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
We have to talk to you about our favorite BMW M3. We love the E30, but it's a little bit like
too old and too slow.
Exactly, too old and too slow. So we like how it looks, but then everything that happens after the 92 M3 is a little bit too heavy and too big. We sort of don't really believe that these cars are M3s, exactly. So basically, the E46 sits sort of at this golden compromise.
Yeah, because I was never also like a huge fan of the E92 as a package. Like the engine, of course, is fantastic, but I think BMW struck the perfect balance with the E46.
And
looks, the sound, the engine.
For many people, BMW is a little bit synonymous with like a good straight six, and we think that this is probably the coolest straight six, and it happens to be in this car completely stock. So since the best element of the car was actually left untouched, we have to focus on everything around it.
And everything around it has been tweaked and improved by arguably the best local, at least, shop for BMWs.
For a very long time, Tom Schirmer, his name was synonymous with any fast E92 BMW M3 out there, and of course he does the whole range of cars. And we kind of love the idea because basically this car is all about the suspension, it's all about the kinematics. This is what they do. If you know Tom Schirmer, you know. If you don't, you don't. But you're gonna learn now when you're gonna see the car in action, and you're gonna understand. No stock E46 M3 goes around that way.
Like this,
However, we're gonna let the owner himself speak about the car. And before we actually do this, we have to make a special mention about the owner because he is almost the ideal spotlight candidate.
Yes. When we decided to do this, Moran was one of the first guys came to our mind because for sure he has a cool car. For sure he has been out and doing cool driving. So like all the boxes were ticked.
But more importantly,
but even more importantly than that, but this we discovered only in the process.
But we kind of felt it.
Like we felt it a bit, but we discovered like in the process that eventually he's a fantastic guy.
We are setting the bar a little bit too high because he's a guy that actually drives with the right mentality on TF, and he's a guy that actually does racing, and he's a guy that doesn't take himself too seriously. So he would go out with his Matisse and play out and do wet laps and whatnot. So actually, sort of tick all our boxes. However, it's better you hear the man himself telling you his story. So we're gonna let this play right now.
Okay, my name is Moran, and this is my E46 M3, built by Team Schirmer, almost full Schirmer GT. I have E88 wheels with the Dunlop Direzza, AP Racing on the front and AP Racing on the rear, full roll cage with the Recaro seats and harnesses. It's a left-hand drive, it used to be a right-hand drive, all uniballs and kinematic underneath the car, rear axle, front axle and diff. I bought this car in 2012. It was completely stock. I looked for a nice example with sunroof, heated seat and all this stuff. And it's turned around to be a full track car, uncomfortable, that staying around the ring, and I cannot drive it anywhere else, unfortunately. So in 2014, I decided that it's an uncomfortable car to drive in London, and I moved it to Germany and bought myself a cheap round around. And then it's become what it's become. Slowly, I improved the car, make it lighter, put some carbon parts, full cage, and just drove it for many years and enjoy it so much. I used to drive Gran Turismo, and Gran Turismo 2, I think, came out with the Nürburgring, and my dream, it was my favorite track, and I always liked to drive just this track. I think one time I even drove it for 18 hours in a row. And yeah, my dream was to do one lap on the Nürburgring, and when I moved to England in 2008, it took me a long time to get a car and to really come here. So in 2010 I said, fuck it, I'm going to the ring and I want to drive it. So I came here, I called my brother, we meet up, and in Germany, in Frankfurt, we got a rental car and we had a really good weekend. I really enjoyed that. It was experience that I cannot imagine in words and describe it in my opinion, because you don't feeling all the bumps and the moves and anything. It's just the adrenaline, it's from different place. And yeah, I think I was sitting in Devil's Diner, and then I saw this Porsche, and I see this old man, minimum 70, coming out, putting his racing boots and going for a lap. And I said, I want to be that man one day. It's incredible. And since then I decided, I basically on my way back to London, I asked myself, how can I do it more? How can I drive more? And how can I be here more? And I work towards this step by step. I stopped doing stuff that I used to do with my life, going out, restaurants, bars, clubs, and decided to come to the ring and spend money on driving around the Nordschleife. So the first mod of my car was brakes. My car was stock and I had a AP Racing on the car. And slowly I just want to improve the handling of the car and the braking of the car. I never touched the engine, never touched horsepower. I was never after that. I don't think horsepower really help for lap times. It's more driving knowledge and track knowledge. I used to drive this car on the Nordschleife and used to go it back to the UK. And also sometimes driving it on a local track in the UK. Codwell Park, Doddington, and Brands Hatch. I did a few, but I found it very boring. So I started driving at 8 o'clock, and by 12 o'clock kill my tires, kill my brakes, and just want to go to the Nürburgring. So then I decided to stop going to track day to the UK and start coming more to the Nürburgring, as it's a very special track with all the elevation and the corners and the bumps. I know a lot of people have sections or corners that they like. I think I like all sections. I have some sections that I like more and some sections that I like less, which I'm always working to like them as well. But I used to like more the old Nürburgring, which you have the Flugplatz, Schwedenkreuz, Piff Puff, bumpier. Exmühle was a bit different, and Berberg. And it was incredible because then you can see the difference of the drivers, because it's in Atzenbach, everybody can drive left, right, left, right, left, right. Not everybody. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but it's a bit easier. Like in the old Flugplatz, the percentage of people will take it flat after the bump. It's a very small number, as well as Schwedenkreuz. But now everybody is like just going over it, and I think the one thing that I miss is the bump in the mid corner of Schwedenkreuz and the bump in Piff Puff. Which I used to use it to rotate the car. And yeah, this is my favorite part. I love Miss It Miss. I think it's very good corners in the dry and in the wet especially. Versiphon, it's not my favorite. Maybe Gabi can help me with that one. I'm still trying to work it out. And this is what I love about the Nürburgring. You know, I'm coming here for 12 years, and I'm still always trying to work out, trying to learn and trying to improve every single lap. Like always thinking by the end of the lap, what I did wrong, how can I do it better? And as everyone, my favorite part is basically, I think most favorite, it's more the technical part from carousel till end of Beloff, which I think a lot of people get into really rhythm there. There's probably the newbie getting tired by there, but the people who know the track, they are getting into the rhythm more from Carousel, O8, Wipperman, Brunchen, and Flansgarden Beloff. I think my favorite part is the old O8. The new one, it's I think a lot of people like it because there's a lot of grip. Wipperman, it's cool, but by far Flansgarden 1, Flansgarden 2, and Beloff, I really like it. I really like the high speed. I really like the elevation. I really like the jump and playing with the car and kind of feeling what it's doing on the high speed and really live on the edge of the high speed. used to drive crazy on the road, only in corners, not in the straight line, like flyovers when you're going up and down from the highways, and back then in Israel. And then when I realized that this is what I love actually doing, and I'm actually quite okay, like I'm quite good in it, I'm not just crazy driver on the road. So then I decided to leave Israel because I want to go racing. But basically from the day I left Israel to the first day I actually race sort of professionally or sort of not autocross, took me 10 years, unfortunately, because of budget. Unfortunately, racing costs a lot of money. And when I built this car, I decided just to drive it on a TF and do many laps and go quick and make it quicker and make it a better car. And I've been asked and told a lot of time to go racing, but then I didn't get the point of why to pay 2,000 or 2,500 euro for 8 laps while I can drive this car for 800 euros for a weekend. It's costing me probably traveling London back and forth and driving over the weekend. So it took me many years to decide to take 2,500 euro and put it into RCN race. And I absolutely fell in love immediately with it. I really like it. I really like the competition. I really like the same cars, and I really like the close battles. TF back, I think, before I started racing, TF was a great place to express yourself, and you know, people want to go quick or have the quickest time for this model of the car, which this is probably what I achieved. And since I started racing, this car unfortunately became kind of less important to me. Yeah, you can go quick and then another guy go quicker and another guy go quicker. And there's no, I don't see the point of it anymore. After racing, I absolutely don't see any point to go quick on the ring. I'm not saying I'm driving slow now on the ring with any single car I will take, but I'm gonna drive with my limit, with my own limit, with the car limits, and respect as much as possible other drivers. Which you can see a lot of other drivers that have fast cars and that, you know, don't letting you pass, or they think they're quicker and they're driving over the limit and trying to chase times in the wrong way. And this is sometimes unfortunate, but I think in our world this is what we're all different, and this is what's the nice part of it. But in the end, we all, again, doing what we love and spending time here, and it's a beautiful place, I think. Big place in the world, and I hope I'm gonna keep coming here until I'm 70 years old. Minimum. I signed for 70 and now. Like that, I'm not gonna die before, but until then I will come here. Sorry for talking a lot.